Hello, my beautiful geeks, and welcome to the Geek Fortress Podcast, Episode 1. Yes, I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I don't know if I will say the name of the episode every episode, depending on how long it goes for and how long they get. But yeah, I've been trying to just kind of bring my geekdom, my fandoms all into one place. Yes, I also have the YouTube channel and I have the Twitch page. But I feel like there's something about a podcast that has a different magic um, to it all, a different seasoning, if you will. So we're gonna add a little salt and pepper this time. We're gonna do this podcast. So just kind of like a quick run through how it's going to be. So every day, not every day, I'm doing this bi-weekly, probably every other Friday, and it's going to start every podcast, not every day. Every podcast is going to start with a geeky fact of the day, and then we're gonna go into the title slash theme of said episode, and that is how we're gonna go. And then as we go along and we have more, hopefully we start growing. We'll look into doing a more social media for it, create a Twitter and all that stuff. So you guys can tweet at me, and you can give me topics that you may want to hear or things that you may want to talk about in future podcasts. So yep, you saw that correctly. Today we will be tackling the rise and fall of Animal Crossing New Horizons. But before we get to that, I do have the geeky fact of the day. And the geeky fact of the day could be about anything in the geeky world. It could be manga, anime, movies, whatever. So today just happens to be about Dragon Ball Z. So did you know that this year, 2023, marks the 32nd anniversary of the first time Goku turned into a Super Saiyan? Yep, that's right. Feel old. If I feel old, you guys are gonna feel old too. The original on the manga was in March 19th of 1991. The episode aired later that year on June 19th of 1991. But yeah, and the episode, are you ready? It was called Transform at Last. Even they knew that it would take somebody like 19 episodes to finally transform to the new form. And I remember watching this as a kid, and he was like angry because, spoiler alert, Frieza killed Krillin for, I felt like 5 episodes. I'm probably exaggerating, but that's what it felt like. Like that's what Dragon Ball Z was good at, just dragging one thing into like 9 episodes. I mean, let's fast forward the years. In Super, they everything that was just one movie, they made a whole season in Super, and I think the movie did a pretty good job. I'm talking about Battle of the Gods and also the Frieza movie that they also did a whole arc about it. But yeah, yeah, 32 years, guys. 32 years. How many episodes did it take him? I really don't remember. But do you remember this episode? If you do, you're an OG. Okay, so moving into the theme of the episode, guys, the rise and fall of Animal Crossing New Horizons. Let's be honest, a lot of us played this game during the pandemic. A lot of us did. I had never played Animal Crossing until Animal Crossing New Horizons. I knew of the existence of New Leaf, and I never played it because I didn't get a DS until later in its life cycle. By the time I got a DS, the DS wasn't the hot thing anymore. But I remember getting it because there was a couple Pokemon games that I wanted to get. It might have been Soul Silver the Gold remake, which is slipping my mind right now. Sorry, I'm old. But yeah, I never played it. I never played it. So one of my friends, he was telling me that he had pre-ordered it, and I was like, should I get it? And he's like, do you like farming sims, life sims? And I've played The Sims in the past. I don't play it now. I should get back into it. My wife is always like, you like all these farming simulators. Why don't you play The Sims? It's a life simulator. And I'm like, you have a great freaking point. I don't know. I really don't know why. I'm weird. I'm weird. But I do like playing The Sims. I used to play it on the PS2. I think it was The Sims 2 back in the PS2. And I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun with it. Um, and I remember doing what you call it, the little cheats that you could do. I think it was Motherload for like having a lot of money and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun doing that. But anyway, and then my friend was like, "You should get it, pre-order it, give it a shot." So because it was the middle of the pandemic, there was no open stores. Really, I'm gonna paint you guys a picture. So the world, at least my world, closed on March 15th of 2020. All right, keep that in mind. The game was released on March 20th of 2020. All the malls were closed, the GameStops were closed, the Best Buys were closed, at least where I'm at. So I couldn't just get up and say, you know what, let me take a drive to Best Buy or to GameStop and get it. And as it is, during that time, this is for another thing, but GameStop, I had pre-ordered the Resident Evil 3 remake, the special edition with the Jill statue, and then they screwed me over on that end because of the pandemic too, because I had ordered it in store and they never got it in store. So anyway, that's for another another episode. So yeah, March 20th, 2020, the world was closed. You couldn't see your friends. You didn't know how long you were gonna see your friends for. Enter Animal Crossing New Horizons. Fun fact, an extra fact just for you guys. This was originally released as Animal Forest in Japan, but once he made its way to us, it was renamed as Animal Crossing. Like a lot of things happen when they come over from Japan, they renamed it. They just think that it fits better. So that makes this March 20th, 2023 that just passed, it makes this game 3 years old. 3 years old. And I know what you're saying. That's not old for a game. I mean, 3 years. I mean, we have games like Dead by Daylight, Fortnite that are going into past 5 years, and they're at the highest of its career. You know, they have updates coming up all the time. The community is growing every day. Granted, yeah, they've made decisions that have made some fans kind of stray away from them, but they've also made some great decisions and great crossovers. And then Animal Crossing, just kind of stopped. And that's what's going to bring us to the fall of it eventually. But before we get there, again, let's keep in mind, let's paint this picture in our head, guys. Everyone was locked in their houses. Some states had curfews. Overall, every day felt like we were walking around with a cloud over our heads. Like depression was killing us. If you suffer from depression, anxiety, whatever, it was killing you. It was making your days even worse. Like the cloud over your head was cloudier than ever. Like there was so much negativity in the air, and sickness also because it could spread with a sneeze or a cough. It was a really 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 bad time. And again, 5 days later, Animal Crossing comes out. And all of a sudden, this game made you feel normal again. I mean, who wants to be normal, first of all? But quote unquote normal, all right? In a world where normal wasn't a thing anymore. I remember people saying, oh, this is the new normal. And I was hoping, like, I hope to God it's not. Because I don't like it. I mean, I like going out sometimes. I mean, I'm not a night owl or anything like that, but I like to go out sometimes with the wife, go to conventions, things like that. And that stopped for nearly 3 years. Like I didn't go to New York Comic Con that year, and a few other cons. It was crazy. We didn't see some of our family members for months, sometimes even years. And if you saw them, you had to look at them through a freaking window because they were older or they were higher risk. So you couldn't. You just couldn't. You didn't want to chance it, and you couldn't travel. Yes, the airlines eventually opened up, and they have like $5 flights, but you didn't want to take that chance, right? Especially with your loved ones. But guess what? Animal Crossing, your island, your sanctuary, it had an airport that you could open up to your friends, to your family, and to newcomers as well. I met so many people when I was doing my Animal Crossing videos on YouTube that to this day they still have pictures when we took them, when we did fun little nights in the island. We had like little parties going on. We made a band. It made you feel normal, like I said, and that is something that I will never take for granted. And a lot of people have asked the question: if the pandemic did not happen, would Animal Crossing have been as successful as it was? Let's open the window into a parallel universe and kind of take a look at that for a second. Would it have been as successful? I think it would have been successful because people were anticipating it for years. as successful with sold out units, the Nintendo Switch Animal Crossing Edition sold out, all of that fun stuff. I don't think so. But I do believe that it would have been successful, but you would have been able to see your friends every day. So perhaps you would have put the Switch down for 10 hours a day instead of playing it 10 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? It was insane. You didn't have to worry about avoiding people. You wanted to open your island and have people come over. All right, so we would play Animal Crossing all day, and then my wife and I used to go to the store at like 11 p.m. at night to avoid people because we didn't want to get sick, you know? And then they changed the hours. They did the senior citizen purchases. Ugh. Anyway, it was horrible. But I didn't have a curfew in my island. You could come to my island at any point. Nintendo sales skyrocketed because of this. It was insane. Your Animal Crossing island was that place where you could hang out with people. You could talk, you could chat, and if you wanted to be there, you could use the Nintendo online chatting system, which is not the best, but you could just call people over the cell phones, over your home lines if you still have those, and you could talk to people while you were playing Animal Crossing, and they were like, "Hey, what are your turnips up today? Can I catalog this new thing? Can I trade you for this? Do you have this? I need 20 wood. I need this and that." I mean, come on. Giving people presents, trading items, cataloging new pieces of furniture. Like I said, just being able to chat in a nice, cute way and doing the little. Everybody wanted to get all the emotions that the Animal Crossing people could do, that your villager could do, and it was just insane. It was insane. Yes, I mean Isabel used to tell you the same thing every morning. She could never get her freaking sock out of the laundry or whatever the heck. But you kind of looked forward to hearing it every day, to doing your dailies. Having fun, having fun. The demand of the game was so high, guys, that it was so out for a while. And like I said before, there was a special edition Nintendo Switch for it that you couldn't find anywhere. So because Animal Crossing sales were going up, skyrocket, Nintendo Switch sales were going up, like poof, crazy. You couldn't find a Nintendo Switch anywhere. I got it digital. So I committed. I was like, I cannot trade this back if it doesn't work out for me. So I got it digitally. I went all in. I said, frack it. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna like it. And I did. It was one of the best decisions there. I have so many hours in that game. It's not even funny. It's insane. But yeah. So that is something that would always stick with us no matter what. And one of the things that I will never forget, it's like actually in my mind this day, was checking your turnips every day. Because if you made the investment on Sunday and you bought yourself a whole bunch of turnips and you were waiting to hit the jackpot, luckily for me, Luckily for me, I hit the jackpot one of those times. I don't know if it was through a subreddit or a Facebook group or something. Somebody was opening their gates because they were selling for like 400 or something, and I had bought like the max amount of turnips that day. And that day I made bank. It was crazy. It was crazy. I used to have this is a true story. I used to have a book where I had written down what people owed me in either turnips or bells because I would buy stuff from them and send it to them and then just be like, put it in my tab. So I literally bought a book from a store, from a Dollar Tree, and I was writing down what everybody owed me. And I would be like a landlord. I'd be like, after 2 weeks, I'd be like, yeah, so you owe me them 500 bells, scratchy, scratch, scratch. I'm gonna need them. I didn't need them. I mean, at the time, I already had so many bells, you know, and ironically, that may have been part of the reason why the game kind of just got saturated so weird because I feel like everybody became rich right away. And if there's no grind, you pay no mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they even ended up lowering the interest in the bank. There was an update later that lowered the interest instead of getting, I don't remember the numbers exactly, but instead of getting like 5%, you would only get like 0.05% or something like that on your bells because people were making a lot of bells. And that brings us also into the mods. People were making like money trees, star fragment trees, wood trees, which sounds kind of oxymoron, kinda. No, that would be the opposite. It doesn't sound oxymoron. It sounds redundant. That's what I'm looking for. And people were just hacking the shish out of that game, and Big Daddy N doesn't like that. So they did a whole bunch of updates and stuff like that. Big Daddy N doesn't like a lot of things, so you gotta be careful with them. Like they don't like mods, none of that. But they do like money, so they definitely made a lot of it with this. Just like we made bells, they made real money. Yeah, true story. And around this time, I started making video tutorials in my YouTube channel, and they became so popular. I would just do patterns or like designs. Like if you wanted to do a Goku shirt, I would make it. I love pixel art, which is basically what it was. It was pixel art. So I would make like Goku designs, funny because he was a fact of the day today. I would make like Hello Kitty, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, different things. I would do whole outfits, or I would just do like design videos, just to like put the picture of something, or a Pokeball, or mushroom from Mario, or something like that. I made the Mario outfit before they actually got the Mario outfit, the legit Mario outfit, when they did the Mario crossover. Which, let's face it, it's so long. It's your own. You own it. You should have been able to probably have that on release day, and that was one of the things that people were really annoyed by. That they released like stuff so far apart from each other, which once again, ironically, I think brought up the demise of the game because they released years worth of updates within like 9 months to keep up with the demand of the game. Because again, people were home, people were not going anywhere. They needed their Animal Crossing. They needed to feel, once again, quote unquote, normal. But yeah, but I have some great memories. One of the best times of my life was celebrating my birthday with my friends in my island and having swimming contests at my formal night. I would have them win prizes and such. I was like doing swimming battles, and then I was included in it. And then I remember my wife was like, "Wait, how are you gonna know who wins if you were with us?" And I was like, "Well, I want to be part of it." And then she's like, "No, go to the end line." So I went to the end line, and then I gave bells away and gold, and then people would come to my island and take pictures with me or with their outfits. They would like make the outfit and then show them to me in like my Discord, or they would tell me in the comment section, and people started requesting it more and more and more and more, to the point that I was uploading like 3 videos a week of these designs because people wanted them, and the views were coming. It was insane. It was in very, very high demand, you know. But yeah, we were the cool kids, man. We were the cool kids in class. We are living in a geek renaissance, if you will. What used to be bad, it's now the norm. Let's call it. Like being a geek now, it's good. When back in the day, it would give you wedgies. Nowadays, it gives you praise. Geek is the new sexy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's face it. Okay, I said it. That's right. But yeah, I celebrated my birthday that way because I could not see my family and friends. I was only with my wife and my cat, which it's plenty of company, don't get me wrong. But you miss sometimes seeing the fam, or like my brother-in-law, my nephew, my niece. And that was another thing, like your pets could get COVID. So you had to be careful when you went out not to come back and give it to Fluffy. You know what I'm saying? So it was complicated. I say that as my cat is looking me at like me with an open face sandwich. That's when he opens his belly wide. But yeah, it kept us sane. I think I would go as far as to say that it kept us sane, and it came out just at the right time. Heck, I was even reading conspiracy theories that involve Big Daddy and that they released it, and they were the ones that. Let's not get into it because I don't follow any of those, but it was insane. People were saying, "Oh, it's too coincidental. Put on your tinfoil hat, this and that, blah blah blah." But it's okay. We enjoyed it for what it was. It was just a coincidence, but people were so gung ho on the fact that March 15th, boom, the world closes. March 20th, boom, here's Animal Crossing. That's some Doctor Evil shit. People were saying, but you know, but I I just like to look at the bigger picture that it made things feel natural again. Animal Crossing brought people together when the world could not, and it was one of those things that you truly could talk about to your kids and your grandkids in the future. Well, Timmy, when I was your age, I play a game for 2 years straight because I couldn't see nobody. Yeah, it's gonna be straight up like that. I mean, this pandemic, as it is gonna go into the history books, and we're gonna be the ones who are gonna be able to tell the kids, "Oh yeah, we went through it. It sucked, but we had Animal Crossing, New Horizons, rated T for teen. I think it's rated E for everyone, but you know what I'm saying. It was it was a time to be alive. I think the whole video game industry in general boomed that those 2 years or so when the world was truly closed, and it it gave us light. It gave us light in the middle of the darkness, you know. And once again, ironically, this is what started generating the fall of Animal Crossing. So the Nintendo Switches, as I mentioned before, in general, were sold out for a long time during the pandemic. I remember it was very hard for me to find one because I wanted to get one for my wife. I was just looking for a Nintendo Switch Lite. I was looking for the Coral Edition because it's close to pink and that's her favorite color. And I had to wake up super early one day to catch a restock so I could get one for her birthday. I think this was 2021. I don't remember. But she wanted to play Animal Crossing with us as well. So I got up, I got it, and then she had her own island. And the fact that every island is different and every island is a different theme is just something that's just like blows my mind. Yes, there's other games where you can do that, where you can make your own creations. As I mentioned before, in The Sims, you can make your own houses, you can make replicas of castles and TV spots and things like that. But something about you having your own spin in your island, something about you having a random surfboard in the middle of your house for no freaking reason was just like, dang, that is definitely Ted's house. You know what I'm saying? There was something that you could put your spin on it. And once you learn to do designs and you can make your own shirts and everything, you could really put your own designs up in the store and people could get them. People could download your designs. People could just go to your island and purchase a design that you had made in the past. You know, it was a time to be alive, for sure. But everything that goes up, guys, has to come down, unfortunately. Which brings us to the fall of Animal Crossing. It rose high, strong, but as the pandemic started getting better, people were starting to go out more. Nintendo kind of got in this mindset that frack, we need to release more stuff ASAP. So they gave you the swimming update, they gave you a whole bunch of updates. They gave us like the good Toy Day or Christmas, um, Halloween, all of these events. That the first time around they were like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" But then the second year, when it was the exact same thing, and you got the exact same things, it gave people the sense of, "Excuse me, why? Like I paid for this game, you should do something else, whatever." And it was it was definitely a downhill spiral from then. Nintendo announced a few updates here and there. They did a couple makeups on it, you know, they dusted it off. They went in and just kind of shook their hair off just like your character would, cleaned the roaches off just like your character would after not going back for a minute. And that's it. But as of today, Animal Crossing has not gotten any significant content update since November of 2021, guys. November of 2021. The demand and the rush was so massive that they released, as I mentioned before, years worth of updates within just like 9 to 10 months. Nowadays the events are the same. There's new incentives to go back into the game. And and Red Your House has said roaches I was just talking about. It's it's sad in a way because I look at it, even I have fallen out of it. I haven't fallen out of love with it because I still love Animal Crossing. I do. Every once in a while, I go back into my island just to check on my boy Apollo, make sure he's okay. He's an old guy, so I have to check on him on the hot days, you know. And it's sad. It was a big part for almost 3 years of our lives, year and a half too, if you don't count the last year, because a lot of people got into it late, and a lot of people are just playing it right now. Now that the roller coaster is almost done, And Nintendo has basically said, yeah, we're sorry, but that's it. And then they recently canceled some things that you could do back with the Nintendo DS. I'm not sure about the specifics. I just read about it briefly. So they kind of just were born and fell down within those 2 years, which is it's rare in a game. Like I mentioned before, even Fortnite, although Fortnite has a huge following, Dead by Daylight, all these games are old, but they've aged like fine wine in certain aspects. Other aspects, people still hate them because of A, B, C, or D. You know, but granted, those are like shooters or 1v4s, and Animal Crossing was just kind of like a slice of life simulator slash farm simulator. That was another thing when they released the farming update, where you can make your own crops and everything, and then you could cook food and all of that. Okay, that was nice. It brought me back into the game, but then I was just like, I could just be doing this in Stardew Valley, and I like the way that Stardew Valley does it so much better. Why do I not just go play Stardew Valley? They didn't do anything different with it. When you had the opportunity to do so, instead of being like Stardew Valley, and instead of being like Story of Seasons, you could make Animal Crossing's own way of farming and growing and doing this and that. Yes, the dishes look beautiful, but I don't know what it is. There was something about it that just did not hit as other games that have done the same exact formula have hit in the past. Extremely sad because I wanted that to bring like a whole new breath of fresh air into the franchise, but it did not. And at this point, it's honestly looking like we're just gonna have to rather wait for the the next Animal Crossing game than get new updates for this one. I might be wrong, you know. I know recently they were showing something that Nintendo's coming up with in a few days from or weeks from the time that I'm recording this, and they showed Animal Crossing, but that's just because they're celebrating all the games that they've released. But the team that worked on Animal Crossing itself, it's has stopped working on it. Again, there has been no new content, significant content updates since November of 2021. We got the DLC. I'm not gonna lie, that was a beautiful DLC where you could have the island paradise and then you could make more houses and this and that got me back into it. I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy. But then when I was done, again, it's like the fatigue came right back. And I've picked up all the games since then, like Wildflowers or going back into Stardew Valley, games like that have kept me hooked and that I still play them. And maybe we should revisit that question of would it have been as successful if the pandemic hadn't hit at the same time. And like I said, I do believe that it would have, but would that maybe kept the game going for longer because the demand was not going to be that high? Would that have kept the game alive for longer times? Because yes, there would have been demand for it, but people would have been waiting more because they were busy working, going out, traveling, going on ships and things like that because there was no pandemic. It's a what if world that we're never gonna get to see, unfortunately. But it is a what if world, and nonetheless, it's worth looking into sometimes. And if you still play Animal Crossing daily, if you do your dailies and everything, I commend you. That's really good that you do it. I try to do it every once in a while, but I always end up going back, and then my villager looks like Tom Hanks in Castaway. It was a beautiful time to be alive. Every day's a beautiful time to be alive, but that time was a great time to gather stories for the future of to tell everybody what what you went through. And I'm always going to be thankful that Animal Crossing was there for us. It helped me personally because I was also unemployed at the time. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what I would have been doing other than looking for jobs 24/7 if Animal Crossing wasn't there. Animal Crossing definitely kept me sane. I know it helped keep my wife also sane. It was just, it was one of those lightning in a bottle situation that fell at the right place at the right time. But What could you change if you could change about Animal Crossing? You play Animal Crossing as much as I did? If you did, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you didn't, it's never late to pick it up. I still recommend it to this day. There's so much into it right now that if you go into it today, brand new, fresh, starting a fresh island from scratch, you're gonna have a lot of fun. And whether you time travel or you do it the right way, whatever you do, I think you can have a great time with Animal Crossing. And but it's not going to hit as deep in your heart as it did seeing your friends in your island as it did back in the day when you couldn't see anybody any other way. But Animal Crossing will always hold a special place in my heart. It will always hold a special place in my YouTube career as well. And unfortunately nowadays the demand is not there anymore. So I wanted to put all of this in an episode to just kind of like complete the circle fully. That my first episode in this podcast it's about Animal Crossing because it was a huge part of my life and it helped us. It helped us through. And it was sad because by the time the world closed, it was just a few days after my birthday. So I got Animal Crossing as a birthday to myself sort of situation, even though I had just lost my job. So I was like, frack it, let's do it, let's play it, why not? And the rest is history, as they say. But yeah, that was Animal Crossing, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode of the Geek Fortress podcast. I appreciate every single one of you guys who stopped by and gave it a shot. There's no really socials yet. It's something that I am working on as I go. But do pay attention to the socials as more episodes come out. We're probably going to have a Twitter, an Instagram. We'll see where the world take us. And do check out my YouTube channel if you want. It's all in the description as well. That's my Twitch channel where I go live every Friday. And this episode should be coming out on Friday, so you can stop by later tonight if you want and stop say hi. If I'm not live, it's just because life sometimes gets in the way. But regardless, once again, thank you guys. And I hope you enjoy this podcast. But until next time, I have been your boy Lewis. You guys have been awesome. Do me a favor, guys. Stay awesome and geek on. Do something nice for somebody tomorrow. You never know when they'll need it. Hasta la vista, geeks. Adios. See you on the next one.